Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a max effort lower day. But a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below. It would be greatly appreciated. So I'm going to be doing, for the lower days, double maxes so that we get some sort of squat and some sort of hinge. That gives me the option of a good morning, not just a deadlift, every week, right? Every week. And we're going to do them as training maxes. We're not going to go to all-out maxes. We're going to keep with Matt Winning's approach there to it. And again, we're going to rotate lifts. So I started off with a safety bar with 34 pounds of chains. Got up to 421. Felt pretty challenging. Felt a little unstable at the bottom. Trying to balance messing with that bar versus the elbow angles versus whatever stance I'm trying to use, kind of funny. But you know what, that's the thing. We learn to hit heavy singles above 90% on awkward lifts in every angle, and that's kind of the point of conjugate. We get strong at every angle. Now I'm leaning in the direction on deadlifts to do mostly deficit type pulls, but as I get further into this, I may work some sumo back in, right? Because I mean, I did all that before that way, and my deadlift still got well above 600 while I was running this system before. And I even walked into that charity event, pulled 625. You know, everyone's like, oh, your deadlift climbed doing there. Well, to some extent, not, but I don't know that it really did. I really built the base off conjugate. So I was thinking of doing good mornings today, but I'm like, you know, I might want to be careful with my good morning volume. The axial loading component, because of my overall training volume, I may want to consider only doing them once a week. I may want to consider that. So I decided instead some extra upper back work. So inverted rows could be in order here. And yeah, I'm gonna do tons of volume for all my pulling for middle and upper back. I'm gonna do tons of it. And you know what? That's gonna save me the need to do any grip work. That's for sure. But I guess I should go back and address that deadlift. I just broke a Texas state record again, my own record, 3 days ago. I broke it on Saturday afternoon, and I'm talking like 2 p.m. Saturday. That meet ran way over. And that was Forged in Fire, just south of Dallas this weekend. So like I'd said before, the squatting, I tried to go for a state record on my second and third attempt, and I got stapled both times. And it was some issues with the way I reloaded after my water cut. Again, you live and you learn. I've learned, though, that I will not be eating pizza ever again. Used to be my favorite cheat food. It's my favorite cheat food, and I haven't had it in 9 months. And I ate it like an hour after making weight, or 2 hours, and it gave me basically diarrhea. And that interfered a little bit with my refeed. So in the future, I'm just going to focus on carbs. Right? I don't really need fat in there. Needs to be carbs and electrolytes, and I'm going to do so much smoother if I do that. So I also feel like on the squat, my upper back was really kind of the limit. That's what caused me to miss the squats with the, you know, some minor fluid imbalances. That's what caused me to miss the squats. And at least one elite coach, like a coach with a really, really crazy high total, he's on my Instagram too, Ganglion Strength. He was watching and he said, yeah, dude, your upper back, you just couldn't. He goes, your leg strength was there. Like you had that coming out of the hole. The power was there. You just couldn't stabilize it. And he's right, because that's what I felt when I did it. So I've got to keep hammering that upper back. So we'll work it really hard. So a lot of these days I'm going to go ahead and do upper back work. Now I'll probably do good mornings on Friday on dynamic day, because we're not doing any super heavy lifting. It's all speed work. I can get away with the axial loading, but I'm going to be doing a ton of volume. All right, I'm going to be up near pretty high volumes, really. I'm going to have to keep my diet on point. I'm going to be adding more and more GPP. And the whole idea here is going to be nutrient partitioning, body composition. I've got to get leaner. I've got to get thicker. I've got to rebuild all the muscle that I lost from that cut before, and then some, so that I can get my bench back up. And we're going to have to just come in leaner and leaner and leaner. And that's what I'm going to do at every single meet. And I laughed at the nonsense. Some of the comments I got, people I had to ban from the last vlog, and they're like, "You don't have a girlfriend?" Yeah, I actually do. Sorry, guys. I don't know why you people come up with that silly nonsense. Yes, I have a girlfriend, and yes, she preps bikini competitors and bodybuilders as part of her service. So yes, she's pretty helpful with all that. So that being said, yeah, I'm going to be coming in a lot leaner. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, that's the leanest I've ever looked in my life. What I looked like on Saturday morning, which you guys saw pictures on social media, is the leanest I have ever looked in my life. I literally had veins through my hamstrings and adductors. Like, I was shocked. Like, okay, and even my face. It's like completely just, looked like it had no fat on it. So that was good. But I still have body fat to lose. I have a lot around my flank. I still have a lot in that loose skin area. I have my low back, my butt. I've got plenty of body fat I can still burn off. Okay, so we're going to use that. Use that to my advantage. So the training volume, the conditioning, everything is going to have to be increased, right? We've got to take everything up to another level. So what we did for supplemental work today, again, you saw the inverted rows. I'll be back to doing my pull-ups a lot of mornings too. We did 5x15 on those. I did 5x10 on belt squats using, again, the same weight I've used for the heaviest sets on those. We did 5x10 glute ham raises, and I managed to get all the reps. I thought I was going to completely fail around rep 7, and I managed to get more on the final set. I somehow managed to squeeze them out. I somehow managed to squeeze them out and get to 10, even though it felt like I wasn't going to be able to. And then we did, of course, 5x10 on reverse hyper. So what does that give me? Well, it gives me a lot of glute work today. I don't know how many sets. We don't count the maxes. I mean, do we count a glute ham raise as a glute exercise? We know the belt squats count. We know the reverse hyper does. Somewhere between 10 and 15 sets, depending on what we want to count the glute ham raise. It's arguable as to how good of a glute exercise it is. It's probably the best hamstring builder in the world. The reverse hyper works hamstrings too, though. So, everything in the lower body got at least 10 work sets, other than the quads, right? Quads realistically only got, I would say, 5 today. 6 if we count, the squat. But they're going to get a lot more on Friday because I'm going to do the belt squats again after doing the speed squats and speed pulls. I'm going to start dragging my sled again this week, right? Several times a week I'm going to get out and drag that sled. So the quads are going to get work, but the posterior chain is going to take a little higher of a priority. Right? Upper back is going to be a high priority. Triceps, delts, so are going to be high priorities for me. And we know we've got to get the triceps and the delts bigger. I have to. They're seriously lagging. So 5x10 on the glute ham raise. And then we get to the reverse hypers, same thing, 5x10 with my 275. Which again is pretty normal for me. I will need to start increasing that, start bumping that weight up, right? But interestingly enough, I do them strict, and if I were to go off the math, my low back shouldn't be a weak link with what I do on these on squatting. So it feels really it's probably more upper back tightness, which means, again, good mornings will help. And of course, just all the rowing again will help. All that rowing will help. And then I finished off, after the reverse hypers, I did a set of high rep band curls because I'm not going to really do much in the way of curls. I don't want to inflame my tendons with all this other pulling I'm doing. But here's the idea, and it's something I've discussed in the past, something I used to do on camera sometimes, was some really high rep band curls in order to help with the tendons, for tendon health. Build the bicep tendons. Now, we could argue as to whether it's actually going to build much bicep or not, just due to the volume and it being more at peak tension, so on and so forth, because we know peak contraction builds less muscle. if we were to pick one point in the range of motion that builds the least, it's peak contraction. Sorry, bodybuilders, that's what research shows. Stretch positions build more muscle. So, we could argue as to how effective it would be for hypertrophy, but at the very least, it's getting volume in there. It'll train some storage factors, which may, induce some hypertrophy to go with all the pulling. Because all those rows and pull-ups and stuff will contribute. But mainly I'm looking at the tendons and the recovery and tendons. I want to make sure those bicep tendons are strong to avoid ruptures in the future. I want to make sure they're strong to avoid bicep ruptures because I do pull mixed grip. Again, I'm looking at record level deadlifts. Have an elite deadlift. I need to be aware of the potential risk there. Okay, I can't play, so it's just a little bit of peace of mind. So that is an area I do band work for, just like you guys see me doing it for the triceps with the band press downs for my elbow tendons. I'm doing the same thing for the bicep tendons, and I'll finish off with a set here, and I might do some more of these later today. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.